Hey everyone, Telander here, and welcome to the Ostium Sagas. Now, if you're enjoying this series and want more right away, I just wanted to mention that you can get them on our Ostium Network Patreon at patreon.com/ostiumpodcast. By becoming a supporter at any level, you'll instantly get access to the next 15 episodes in the series. So that's on our Patreon at patreon.com/ostiumpodcast. And I'd just like to thank our 5 most recent patrons for supporting the Ostium Network. Thank you to Pokevim, Daniel Hoskins, Talon, Nom Blashki, and Megan Polliner for all your support. We really appreciate it. And now let's get started with the next chapter of the Ostium Sagas. The Ostium Sagas. Saga 1, 1066. Recorder's Endnote, Part 4.
From L. Harcourt at marquette.edu to Steve Chase at hotmail.com. Subject: A message like no other. Dear Mr. Chase, thank you very much for your recent audio message. To say I was surprised to hear from you does not even begin to cover it. As I listened through your entire message, I could not quite believe what I was hearing. And no, do not take this as any insult or critique of your British accent, which I found quite lovely. It was your words that I found most astounding. I will truly admit that most of the students that I lecture and engage with on the subject of the Battle of Hastings and the 11th century make their interest clear with their indifferent stares that they would rather be somewhere else than my classroom. So, to find this message engaging me on the subject was a sheer delight. I am hesitant to fully entrust myself to you, Stephen, as like the beginning of any relationship, I feel we have only just met, and will need to have a further discourse before I feel comfortable enough to share all I know on the subject, and on the Chronicle. Nevertheless, I can tell your wording was very carefully chosen in your message, as you too are clearly feeling me out, so to speak, and vetting me before you can put your full confidence in me. Therefore, for now, I will keep this message on the short side, and leave you with this reference to a certain primary source material. You mentioned the Chronicle, and I will see you and raise you one accompanying slim volume that pairs well with said Chronicle. What say you to this? Sincerely, L.F. Harcourt. P.S. While I will be the first to admit I do not fully understand how you came to reach me with this audio message method, or how any of it actually works, for that matter, I do at least trust you enough to feel comfortable using this program, this quantum aural, and feel our words will remain between you and I, and blind to any other. LH.
Because time is relative, I got a ping sound of Professor Harcourt's response almost immediately after I hit the send button on my end. So the good news is I didn't have to wait too long to find out if the professor would hear me and engage me in that audio messaging conversation. And the voice was just as warm and welcoming as the professor's face, as I had suspected. Handy advantages when trying to teach students about the medieval period. Not quite Indiana Jones level looks, but maybe more in the realm of Indy's dad? Anyway, getting off topic a bit here. It now felt a little bit like we just made our opening moves in a metaphorical chess game, and I'll be perfectly honest in saying I'm completely rubbish at chess. But I think each of our messages made one thing clear and confirmed we were on the same page. Of the Ostium Sagas. Sorry if that was too cheesy, but I'm sure one Jake Fisher would be amused. But it's clear we're both talking about the same chronicle, with my pointed details and Harcourt's mention of the slim volume we all feel we know so much about already, even though we haven't read it yet. But we will, in time. All good things come to those who wait, right? Part of me wanted to shoot a quick audio message right back and just go out and say everything. Again, see my aforementioned chess abilities, which should explain why I wanted to just get all this cloak and dagger stuff over and done with. But a small part of me wasn't sure, and even though it was a small part, I still recognized it and took it as an important warning. While I had tracked down this bloke, and it hadn't been completely easy, there had been some sleuthing involved. Okay, maybe just a tiny bit. And while I had my suspicions about him, nothing was really certain yet, so it was still necessary to be cautious. So instead of sending a new audio message, I got up and took a walk and had a think on it, and in fact waited until the next day before I made my decision. And when that next day arrived, I'd come to a good one. I was going to wait a bit. Time's all relative, remember? So Professor Harcourt would hear from me when it was the right time, and I decided the right time would be when we were on equal footing with regards to the Ostium Sagas. And what does that mean exactly? It means it's time for our second Ostium Saga.